This is Jono's World, conversation for everyone.
All right, welcome everyone to Jono's World. We have with us NFL alum, Notre Dame alum, Notre Dame national champion, the one who ruined Tennessee's dreams of beating Notre Dame by intercepting a game-winning drive, Mr. Rod Smith of New England Patriots, Carolina Panthers, and the Green Bay Packers. How we doing today, man?
I'm doing well, Jono. Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Pleasure is all mine. So, of course, I want to get before we jump into, you know, your football history. What's your instant reactions to yesterday's game? And should it have been Georgia instead of Alabama in that game?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think if Georgia and Alabama play 10 times, I like Georgia to probably win 6 of those events. All right. They're obviously a little bit better. Maybe not obviously because they played, but I
Right.
think they're better. Um, like I said, if they play 10 times, I like Georgia to win more of those games. But any given Saturday, Alabama is good enough to beat you. And yes, they're not as talented as they are traditionally. But they've got a heck of a head coach and heck of a staff, and they can still beat you with coaching, as we saw. Um, I was I was surprised that Michigan was able to physically move the ball and dominate in stretches the way they did against Alabama. They may not be as talented and as twitchy as they've been in past years, but they're just as big and strong. But Michigan, they're better than I even thought they were.
Me too.
And Harbaugh, I think, outcoached Nick in enough situations, which gave his team an advantage strategically. I mean, and for them to win the game by 7, uh, um, with special teams blunders at the level that they had. I mean, like a lot of folks don't understand. Like a special teams score, I mean, a special teams turnover is like a turnover and a half. I mean,
Right.
it's like an expected point loss of like 9.2 points. Like it's a 9-point swing when you fumble the kickoff.
Yeah.
People, I mean, it doesn't sound right, but if you do the math and you go, wow, that's about a 9-point swing. Yeah. So Michigan was a better team, and
Not to count the momentum that can swing. Like you've seen games, a special teams turnover, and next thing you know, it's a 21, 28 point swing, like in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, 100%. I mean, kind of jumping pages here, but you go back like, what was it, like 2 weeks when Denver lost to New England, which is kind of the beginning of Rush's downfall. They got the score, and then they had that special teams fumble on the next kickoff, and New England punched it back into the end zone right away for another score. They scored, 14 points in 17 seconds, and that's your ball game. Like, I mean, I
That's
don't
it.
care what Russ does, I don't care what the defense does, I don't care what Sean Payton calls. Like the game's over. You just give up 14 points in 17 seconds. One of them on a special teams turnover, like it's over. So,
It's
um,
yep.
so Michigan did that and still won the game. It lets you know, I think, how much better they actually are than Alabama. And yeah, Georgia maybe, but listen, Georgia lost heads up. You know what I mean? Like, beat them. You know what I mean? And
It's true.
Florida State, obviously, even though they missed a lot of people, I don't think they'd hung in
Listen,
there in any of those teams.
listen. Florida State, you know, to see Kentucky beat Louisville and to see how Kentucky was this year on offense. They could not move the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. They were very stagnant except Ray Davis. Ray Davis was the only highlight in that offense all year long.
hmm
And they blew Louisville up. And
Crushed them.
Florida State struggled against Louisville. And
Yeah.
that told me all I needed to know.
Yeah.
That told me
Yeah.
all I need. They're not ready for the SEC. They're
No.
all right playing against Duke and Louisville and these dudes like that. No, you're not ready. You're not Clemson. Not yet. I mean,
Nah.
Clemson wasn't Clemson this year, but you're not Clemson.
Not even close. Not even close.
And
Not
that's
even
yeah. Not, they would have got crushed.
mollywopped. Yeah. It'd have been ugly. It'd have been over at the half. I mean, the Georgia game was over at the half. I turned it on and they were down like 24 points. I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm halfway through the first quarter. What happened? Like, how are they down 24 points? Yeah, it was crazy.
It's over.
Yeah,
It's over.
yeah,
Especially against Georgia. Like you're not digging yourself out at that point. Not with a backup quarterback.
yeah.
You're just not. But also, like going back to the Alabama Michigan game, they knew the last play.
Mhm,
They knew the last play. Like Harbaugh straight up knew exactly what Saban was going to call.
mhm, mhm,
Like there was no question, and it just stopped it in its tracks, and it was
mhm,
over. Like Saban has to. Like in my mind, I'm sitting there, and I know what Saban's going to call. On your live, you're saying it's going to be a QB draw.
mhm,
Like the whole world
mhm,
knows.
mhm,
Like, why not do the Tim Tebow jump to the tight end, like, or a read option, or it's something
mhm,
different than what we all know is coming.
mhm, mhm.
I mean, if you had the hefty lefty that was 230 pounds in that situation, all right,
Sure,
all right, sure. He ain't him. He ain't Tebow.
that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, it was. I was I was anticipating quarterback draw, but I'm still shocked that he didn't have some kind of run pass option to get. I thought it was going to be play. I thought the better play would have been formation to the field, ball in the half, formation to the field, and then action into the short side of the field. Even you might even pull somebody to that short side to really get people convinced it's a short side play, and then reverse out and get to the field. And
Right,
I've got a run. I got a great athlete with the ball in his hands and a run pass option. And I'll have him even do it out of the gun so that there's no way even a free rusher is going to get to him. I mean, I'm gonna have space. I don't mind him being further away from the end zone, but I want him to have space. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it from under center. You know, where somebody could get to him. I'd have him
right.
catch it in the eye. I'm catch it in the shotgun. Pull a guard to the weak side. Play action pass. Play action fake it that way, and then go to the field. Okay. And give him a chance to run pass. Like if the pass isn't there, run that thing in there. You know, if the run's not there, then find somebody to get the ball to. So like, yeah, it was oversimplified, and I think Nick, knowing his guys, didn't trust them to execute it.
Right. I mean, isn't that how Cam Newton drug one of the worst Auburn teams ever to the national championship?
Yeah,
I mean, because that team without Cam, that team was garbage.
garbage. 100%.
Garbage. That team
100%.
was Cam was that team.
They were
I
average,
mean,
average team in Cam Newton. Exactly.
there were 3 stars and Cam Newton.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's what it was. It
yeah.
was not good. The games that Cam where like he was suspended for a half or this or that, like they were
Oof,
getting crushed until
oof.
Cam came back in.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I
right.
mean, and so I was expecting Saban throughout the year to treat him more like a Tebow Cam Newton type and to call more of those type of plays that you're just describing. And he never took that step, it didn't feel like.
Yeah,
Especially in that situation, like come on.
yeah. It
You
was
can't, you
it
can't
was
go with what everybody knows you're going with.
100%. It was easy to predict, and they and they mashed it. I mean, like Michigan did a great job coaching. They really did. I mean, and they adjusted well. I thought it was interesting on the very first third down. It was 3rd and 7, and Nick Saban rushed 3, spy 2, and dropped 8. You know what I mean? Like I was like, wow. I mean, not really drop 8, but but dropped 8. You know what I mean? They
Yeah, he
dropped
dropped
8.
him. Yeah,
Yeah, and uh, interesting that he didn't bring pressure on a lot of third downs. They played it very conservatively, which was smart. But
which
just
is
a very interesting take on how to
it's
stop
not
Michigan.
what normal
Yeah,
Bama does. Bama's a get after you, like we're going to sack you 6 times.
a hundred
Like
percent.
that's Bama football. Like, and they were playing more of not prevent defense, but more of that, like, we don't want you to beat us, and we're going to give you a certain amount of yardage. Like that, like I'll let you ding and dunk us to death type of like soft D is what you were seeing from them, is what I felt like.
Yeah, it was absolutely 100% bend don't break,
Right.
100%. You know what I mean? And it's funny because for the reputation, I kind of bouncing around here. Forgive me,
No.
but it reminds me of it's the same thing that that the Ravens do. You know, and it's funny. There's like a thing sweeping around football right now. A lot of people may not be aware of is, and I can't remember their names. Forgive me, but but a few years ago, Harbaugh called his brother Jim and said, "Hey, I'm going to lose this job here." I mean, he took a pay cut. Number one, Michigan asked him to take a pay cut, and then he said, "Listen, I got to figure a way to beat. I got to find a way to beat Ohio State. I got to get better on defense. Like, give me somebody on your staff, one of your young, really smart defensive guys." He offered him two people. One of them went off and he gave Harbaugh a chance to choose, and he chose one of them, and then the other one went to I can't remember what college it went to. Now I'm blowing this whole story, but it went to a college to be a defensive coordinator for a year to learn, and then went back to the Ravens. Okay, but he needed a little more experience. These are young coaches, right? These aren't even
Right,
these
right,
coaches
right.
yet. These are assistants, and head football coaches trying to get these young assistants geared up to take bigger jobs in the pros. So you
Mhm.
take one of your young assistant defensive guys, you throw him to a college for a year to be defensive coordinator. Okay, so he does that for a year. He comes back. The other guy went to Michigan. Okay, and was there for 2 years, helped Michigan get squared away. And then once they got squared away, they swapped. So the guy that went to college and went to the Ravens now. So they're all running the same type of defense. And all I have to say is
That's brilliant.
it's really smart, isn't it? And I noticed this against San Francisco, particularly. They play very conservatively when the ball is quote on schedule. Okay, 1st and 10, 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. When the ball is quote unquote on schedule, they play very conservative. They literally are bend don't break. They play a lot of cover two, a lot of cover four, a lot of five, which is man under two deep. Like a lot of very conservative. Let you run it. You can have your 6 yards on first down. That kind of thing. Really soft.
Yeah.
However, as soon as you get off schedule, as soon as it's 3rd and 8, 2nd and 10. Hey, listen, it's the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Now it's zero coverage. They're blitzing like crazy. But so when it's a normal rundown, they play conservative. But if they get you into we know you've got a pass situation, they bring the heat, like literally at the top of the league level. So
Yeah.
there's that much difference between the way they act on normal down and distance and then the way they act on when the offense is behind schedule. It's so different. That's kind of the new strategy that's kind of filtering out through all of football. And it started with the Ravens with these two young guys, and Harbaugh's added it to his mix. Harbaugh's defense looks like the Ravens. I mean, obviously different people, but like same mindset, same process.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that is different from Michigan than just by looking at them, they don't look like your typical, northern team. They're built more like Alabama in the butt. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah,
they got
yeah,
some beef.
yeah,
And I think that played a huge. I think other teams are catching up. Like they notice how. I mean, you've heard Deion Sanders talk about it over and over and over again. You got to get more beef up front. You got to get more beef up front. And you're seeing, these other leagues now begin to catch up on that end. And I think that's a good thing.
yeah. I
I
agree.
The SEC stranglehold, though I'm a SEC fan, isn't necessarily great for football.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State, I mean, I'm glad they're going to, what is it, a 10 team or a 9 team playoff next year?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is?
12
Um,
team.
12 team.
Mm-hmm.
Because, teams like those Penn States, the Notre Dames, like those need to be in there. And so I think like seeing the SEC stranglehold now enter the picture, Texas and Oklahoma, and it could keep going. But I think it's good for football that there's not a SEC team in the national championship.
I agree. It's a breath of fresh air, and you know, to jump over to
Washington,
the Washington.
I was not expecting them.
Listen. The quarterback
Legit.
is a superstar. He really is, and I know he's got some injury problems with the knee and all that kind of thing. But um, there are guys that can throw the football and have great arm talent, and then there are guys that are passers, and
Yes.
um, and
Yes.
he is a passer, and it
Yep.
reminds me of. He literally reminds me. And it sounds crazy when I say this, but I can't believe this. But he reminds me a lot of Joe Montana, in that it's not like the biggest gun in the building, but every throw Joe Montana threw was away from the defender. He was always throwing the ball into position to where he wanted the receiver to go to catch the ball
Right.
so he was seeing the game from the quarterback's perspective and the receiver's perspective. Like it's another layer, so
Yes.
I'm watching this guy, and on these deep balls, like he knows when to put more air under it. He knows when to put less air under it. He knows when it needs to be a laser to the sidelines. He knows where it's got to like be a timing shot. Same pass, but it's got to float out there because the ball. I need to get rid of the ball now so I don't get sacked. So I'm gonna put a little air on it and give my receiver a chance to run. But I'm gonna push the ball to the sideline a little bit more to make sure that he catches it and runs out of bounds and doesn't take a shot by the safety. I mean, it's almost hard to describe how genius it is, but
Yeah.
he's a problem.
The only rookie quarterback this year that is doing stuff like that is C.J. Stroud.
Yeah,
Will Levis isn't doing that. Bryce Young isn't doing that. We
no,
didn't get to see enough of Anthony Richardson, but I saw him in Florida. He ain't doing that.
he's not doing he's not doing
Like,
that.
come on now. He's not going to go from being Anthony Richardson in Florida to Michael Vick overnight. Like, this is not going to happen. Um, Sorry, Colt fans. Like, but I mean, C.J. Stroud is probably the only rookie quarterback in the NFL that's even doing that this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think the kid from Washington could make. I think he could make. I think he could make like 12 or 13 teams better tomorrow. If he, I think you take the bottom 12 quarterbacks in the league, he could go to those teams tomorrow and start this weekend and be better than what they've got right now. Um,
Commanders,
yeah,
Falcons,
yeah,
Bears,
yeah,
Vikings,
better than that, better than those guys. Like
Raiders.
he could start with the Vikings tomorrow.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Raiders tomorrow. And they'd be better.
Yep, absolutely. Because he's got he like you said, he's a passer. There's a difference between these strong arm. It took Josh Allen 4 years to start doing that stuff.
Mhm.
Patrick Mahomes kind of is a natural at that, even though mechanically wise, your he's not and your mechanic like you look at him and you're like you shouldn't be throwing that way, but like it is exactly where it's supposed to go. Like he's throwing to where the people should be, and just the receivers this year for KC aren't smart enough to be there. Um, they're just
Yeah,
not. I
they're,
mean,
they're not. They're
foot,
not.
if,
Go ahead.
football IQ. I mean,
Yeah, it's. I think uh, that the loss of Bieniemy was a bigger deal to Kansas City than people give it credit for,
yeah, I
and it's
agree.
funny. I go back to talking about like the the feedback that was coming out of of uh of the I want to keep on
Commanders.
the Redskins. And I gotta get Redskins out of my face. The Commanders, Washington, um, in training camp, the guys were
Mhm.
complaining that Bieniemy was all over them and he's a slave driver and he's cussing everybody out about their steps and their routes, and they run a route at 10.5 yards, and he's screaming and yelling and cussing and screaming and screaming and yelling and cussing about hand position and where your elbows are and getting off the jam and where are your eyes, and you're not looking at the quarterback, you're looking too high, and all of these little technique things. I remember reading that being like, I didn't get it at first when I read it. And then as the season went on and I saw the Kansas City offense having their struggles, I realized that, you know what?
They're
This
missing
guy,
that.
yes, Bieniemy was their Barry Alvarez. Barry Alvarez at Notre Dame, before he took over the job in Wisconsin and built that program, was our defensive coordinator. We won the national championship in 1988
Under
because
him.
because Barry Alvarez was the defensive coordinator. And he was not only coaching our team versus their team, but he was coaching each individual player. Like he used to come. I mean, once a day he'd see me and say, "Hey, you're too high in your back pedal, or get your hands like this. You're trying to catch the ball this way. Hey, Rod, eyes on the waist." I mean, every day he was like peppering me with something technique wise to make me better. Like, hey, you get your feet lined up. Your feet are off. Like he did it every day, but he was doing that for every player on the defense. He was every day touching every player on the defense, little bit, but little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. And if you didn't do it, if he said, "Hey, get your stance a little lower," and you didn't do it, the next day at practice, he'd say, "Oh, I saw you on film. You're still high. Is there a problem? You not hear me? What's the problem?"
He
He would hold you
accountable.
accountable. Yeah, I mean, he'd
Yeah.
come by and just say, "Hey, get a little lower on your back pedal." That's not a casual tip. He's expect you to do it because the next day in practice, if you didn't, he goes, "I watched the film and you were high the rest of the practice. Did you not understand what the hell I said?" Pardon my language. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Now
Like,
you're good.
that's what he would say to you. You know, and you're like, "Oh, my bad. I got you, coach." So I think I know Bieniemy was that guy, all right,
Yes.
for Kansas City, right? Who was on
Yes.
everybody all the time, leading everybody, do this, listen, including Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yes.
People don't want to.
He's. Uh-oh.
Hold on a second here. What happened here? Let's see. Hold on. God. Okay.
We'll edit that part out.
There we go. There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is super undisciplined right now.
Super. Just running
Super.
all over the place. He's not staying in the pocket. He's throwing from all positions. He's just buck wild right now. No
Yep.
question.
I mean, there was two or three. Actually, there was 4 or 5 plays on this last game where if he would have held on to the ball for another second, which he had time to do, he had Kelsey open in the flats. Like multiple times in a row where he just had happy, and maybe he's getting hit too much, but he's got that happy feet, and he's just kind of slinging it, and the receivers aren't doing him any favors because none of them are able to read his own defense at all. I mean, that's how you beat the Chiefs. You run zone.
Exactly. 100%. Yep. Yep. And just get after those tackles. Yep. You know.
Yep.
You know. And they got they
So,
got they got rush
so,
ends in that conference. So watch out.
oh yeah. Oh, the Raiders tuned him up.
Yeah, they did.
Raiders tuned him up, and Raiders aren't good.
They're not good. The Crosby's good, and if the tackles are a little bit off, like he can be a problem. He is a
Yep.
problem.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think Crosby should at least be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. I know,
I
at
agree.
least in the conversation. I
I
mean, I
agree.
know they're
I agree.
losing. The losing is going to play against him, but dude's playing ball.
Yeah, he's on fire. He's had a great year, um and he's one of those guys that it's not easy to be a great player, but it's another standard deviation more difficult to be a great player and also provide motivation that makes your team better. You know what I mean? I mean
Yeah,
it's like the Tom Brady effect. Like Tom Brady's play, as great as it was, and it was absolutely stellar. I mean, like amazing. His real gift was his ability to challenge teammates and coaches and make them better. His ability to get to a team and challenge his offensive line, challenge his quarterback, his quarterback coach, challenge the offensive coordinator, challenge everybody on defense to be better. Every time he caught a pass, every time he threw a pass against the first team defense in New England, he was talking trash to Ty Law and those
Yes.
guys. You know what I mean? And like, and what's Ty Law going to do? He's a Hall of Famer. He's gonna fight back, right? So
Hmm.
now, when you have a practice, everybody's practicing at like 80%. You put Tom Brady in there, and guess what? Everybody's practicing at 98%. I mean, like Tom is literally like completing passes and counting out. That's another one, Ty. That's another one. That's three on you. Like I mean, like he's doing air quotes on like can anybody cover Gronk today? I thought you guys are number 2 in the league on defense. Not today. You're not. I mean, just talking true, constantly attacking that defense and making them play harder and more aggressive.
Yes.
And then his offensive line has to play better. So next thing you know, you got this highly spirited practice, this super intense practice, and that carries on to the game. They go in the game and they're just jacked up and that's what Crosby does. He literally gets his
Yeah.
entire team ready to play at a level that's beyond their normal capacity.
Now you had to see a degree of that playing with Brett Favre in Green Bay. Like you had to see, especially the trash talking every time he burns you. Like, he might spit tobacco juice at you and say, yeah, like he had to have a little bit of that kind of dog in him as well, from what I hear.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. You mentioned that, Jay. I got a little quick story. So my first day of practice with the Packers, Favre threw a couple things, kind of, couple good stories. So one is that during the first team pass drill or Pascali drill, he threw a skinny post on me, and I'm still learning kind of how they play things. So I don't know if that's the safety's going
Yeah.
to come over there and make that play, or I need to close on it hard or whatever. So I'm on his back to his shoulder. It's a good throw. I was in good position on the guy, caught it, whatever. Freeman, I could have easily made the tackle. I didn't tackle him, but right there. And then so we're jogging back. And Brett Favre was like, "Ooh, that was nasty." And I was like, "Wait a minute." I was like, "Wait a minute, really?" I was like, "Oh, okay, I got you." So, and he's smiling at me, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So, it must have been maybe like 8 or 9 plays later. They ran an in route to Brooks, and I picked that off. And you don't throw the ball back to the quarterback. I mean, but I jogged it, I intercepted it, but I ran it all the way back to the line of scrimmage, and then I just kind of rolled it in his direction. I didn't roll it at him. It wasn't that. It wasn't like, hey, but I rolled it his way and looked at him. You know what I mean? It was like, hey,
It's a head nod.
and I just said, now we're even. You know what I mean? Um, but I laughed and I enjoyed it. I appreciate that. Like he's trying to get me fired up and into the
Yeah.
thing. And one thing about Brett Favre, which is funny, I did not expect this. He's so much more cerebral than he got credit for. So
Hmm.
after that practice, we're in the locker room, and Brett Favre comes by my locker. He goes, "Hey, Smitty, man, hey, I didn't mean anything by that thing. Oh, me either, man. We're just enjoying practice. I didn't mean anything." But he goes, "I didn't either." He goes, "Hey, listen, I got to ask you a question." I go, "What's up?" He goes, that in route that you intercepted." I go, "How'd you know that was an in route?" I go, "Because on 2nd and 10 in midfield, that's what you guys always do as split backs." And he goes, "God, Doug, I know." He goes, "That's the same thing that was in New England in '93, wasn't it?" And I said, "It was the exact same route." Actually, by the exact same guy. That's how crazy that is. He goes, "I knew it." He goes, "I've been telling him for years." So here's the thing: Brett Favre knew that
That he,
that he remembered a route that I picked off on him 4 years earlier in New England. I picked off that
yeah.
in route on him. And he was like, so when I picked it off again in practice, he was like, "It's you again. It's that same route. Like, how did you know it was an in route?" Like his memory to go back 4 years is amazing. I was shocked by that. I thought he was just a gunslinger. He's not. He actually is thinking about what's happening and remembers it. Has long memory.
He's not that gunslinger dumb hick that he paints himself
That's right.
to
That's
be.
that's right.
No one, nobody painting him that way.
That's right.
Everything Brett has in life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, Brett has earned on his own,
That's right.
and on his own decisions and won.
That's right.
it's
That's right. That's right.
it's just it. But say what you want to about Brett Favre off the field, like the dude was a baller.
Whew, he was
The
he
dude
was a
was a baller.
monster, an absolute monster.
Now, before we go back to what college real quick, was Sterling Sharp there when you were there?
He was not. He
It
was
was not
gone.
okay. He
Yeah,
had just got that was probably just after, right? Like a
yeah.
year.
He had just left, just retired, and but I
Yeah,
did play against him a bunch when I was in New England. My first
boy.
couple of years in the league, we saw Green Bay every year, and I mean that's a full day affair, man. I mean he is. I mean, he wants to smoke on pass plays. He wants to smoke on run plays. Like if you don't take him on, he's gonna knock out your defensive end. I mean, he literally Bill Parcells showed me a film of this guy. He's like, "Hey, listen, right? I want you to understand who you're playing against tomorrow. Like if it's a run play and you don't approach him and engage him, which happens a lot. Corners are like, I make a business decision. I'm not going to go tie up with this dude. He's 217 pounds of muscle. Like, nah, I'm all set. A college wrestler. Like, nah, I'm good. That dude will turn inside and knock your defensive end, break his ribs. I mean, like, I don't mean like give a little. I mean, he will turn inside and take your inside linebacker who's scraping outside on that sweep and just knock him out. I mean, he broke Ken Norton's like collarbone. I mean, just
Has
unbelievable.
I mean the '90s were different. Let's just say it. Like I get
That's
it.
true.
The guys are faster now. They can throw it further.
Yeah,
They have more technology. They have more nutrition. Their bodies are better conditioned. I get it. They ain't hitting. The hits ain't the same. And the rules. I mean, you could destroy dudes in the '90s. I
yeah,
mean, all the way up really until Tom Brady got his ACL torn in Kansas City. You could destroy guys. Like it was brutal.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was brutal. And then before that, I mean, you used to have guys you were allowed to tackle guys by the face mask.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, like,
oh,
jeez.
man, you're running full speed and, some giant freaking monstrous just one arms your face mask and breaks your neck. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, no
it's
doubt.
so I mean, football has evolved, but I mean, the hits in the '90s, as a kid, seeing them, like there's things that you remember Lawrence Taylor doing. There's things that you remember Ray Lewis and Junior Seau and these dudes. Like, there's things you remember them doing. Ed Reed, Bernard Pollard,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
boy, these dudes.
Yeah. Different.
These dudes were different.
Yeah. Yeah. They really were. Those guys were animals, man. It was crazy. It was
Yeah,
awesome. I
right.
loved it.
Yeah, it was. And even the running backs. I mean, Mike Allstott,
Hmm.
the Nigerian Nightmare.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? The
Yeah.
Nigerian Nightmare,
Get a
Christian.
leg. Grab a leg.
It ain't a leg. It's a
Yeah,
tree.
grab a
It's
leg
a
and hang
tree.
on, and hopefully you can get that other foot. But like you might get drugged. But listen, it beats the alternative. You might get drugged a little bit. You grab that leg, but trust me, if you go high and if you go
He's gonna
high
throw
and
you.
you're off, if you go high and you're off by a millimeter, you are going to get sports centered. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and you can lose your life. He might knock you down and step on your chest. It could go really bad,
He was a
really
beast.
bad.
He was a beast. I mean, they called him the Nightmare for a reason. I mean, that dude crushed people.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Allstott didn't have nothing on him.
No, 100% no,
No,
no, oh no. And and
no.
and, and Kansas City, there's a guy named Barry Ward who was his fullback for a couple of
Yeah,
years. And a lot of people don't know his name, but listen,
I do.
nobody wanted that smoke. That dude was the nastiest fullback run blocker, like maybe in NFL history. He was unbelievable. He was scary and unbelievable. I mean, even guys like Ronnie Lott were like, "Nah, man, I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
gonna avoid that dude." And Ronnie Lott was turning it down. Somebody's bringing the smoke.
you would see dudes slow up.
Yeah.
Like whenever he would, especially if he was coming around the edge, you would see dudes lift.
Whoa. Like, oh damn.
Yeah, yeah, like, oh, business decision, business decision.
Absolutely.
Like it was a different game, and but I like where the game is today. players are playing longer.
Mhm.
You know, they're making more money. They are taking better care of their bodies and their heads. And
100%.
yeah, we don't want any more juniors outs. You know,
100%.
like
100%.
we don't want any more tight ends at 30 years old having seizures.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
like
100%.
we want the evolution of the game.
Mhm. I agree.
Yeah, I think Randall Cobb said they should just like create a strike zone, just like in baseball. Like from the shoulder to the thigh,
Mhm.
like, and just keep it at that. If any contact isn't made anywhere apart from the shoulder to the thigh, it's penalty, and just keep it that simple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that idea, actually.
Just a strike zone,
Yeah,
and you literally just call it the strike zone. This is where
yeah,
you're allowed to hit people.
yeah, yeah. I like it.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a good idea, actually. It would promote the game, no question about it.
hmm and it
Who do you,
would clarify the rules.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Who do you like to get back to it? Who do you like? Michigan, Washington.
At first, I think I still like Michigan. I think I still like Michigan. Um, I think Michigan is a more complete defense, and I think that's why they're going to win. Um, but Washington's got that punchers like we can hit you from anywhere chance. Um, and so I would say Michigan still, because I think Michigan's going to be a better coach team. I think the experience coaching in the Super Bowl, the experience coaching in the NFC Championships, the experience being in the college playoffs before, I think all of those things kind of give Harbaugh a little bit of the advantage. I mean, we did just see him out coach Saban. Um,
Hmm.
And so, beating Texas, I know Texas beat Alabama, but, beating Alabama in the playoffs is a lot different than beating Alabama in August. Um, and so, like, I know they beat Texas, but this is a national championship. This is a bigger stage than even that game. The game that everybody watched ratings wise was Alabama Michigan. Like, this is the game. And so how that coach handles his timeout managements, those 3rd and 7s, those 3rd and 5s, um, that's going to be the key. Because if he makes any mistakes, Harbaugh is he's going to pound on him.
Hmm. Hmm. I agree. I think Michigan's excuse me. I think Michigan's going to be able to control the clock. You know what I
Yep,
mean, and limit their exposure uh, to what I think is probably the best passer in college football. I mean, I'm really impressed with him. It's my first time watching a full game, and um, he just made every throw, and even his misses are in the right place, and um, he's leading receivers to the open holes and throwing away from
yep,
defenders, and that's such a rare thing. I mean, it takes quarterbacks in the pros years to figure that out, and this kid's already doing it. And
he's doing it.
yeah, I mean, he's a problem. I just think Michigan's going to run the football, hold the football, limited their exposure to him. Um, they get enough pass rush up front to make him move around a little bit, which decreases quarterback's accuracy. Another stat that I love that's kind of explains some things that Bill Parcells told me. He said, Rod, if you can get a quarterback, we studied this. He goes, if you can get a quarterback to take 2 steps off his spot, his accuracy drops by 35%. Just get him to slide 2 feet
Get him
left,
to
2 feet to
move.
the right. Just get him to move. And even though people talk about Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes scrambling around making these passes, and it's so incredible to throw the pass. They are not as accurate out of the pocket as they are standing on their spot.
Not even
They're
close.
not. I mean, so every time you see them make a great throw, Patrick Mahomes, he's throwing one over somebody's head. Like all we see is the highlights, but the fact of the matter is quarterbacks on the run are not as accurate as a quarterback standing with his back foot in the ground, and throwing it like that.
Yeah.
So get him out of the pocket, get him on the move, and I think Michigan's gonna be able to do that to Washington on the offensive side, and then defensively. Hang on your hats. I mean, Washington's going to get a full dose of Michigan run play. I mean, you're going to get Blake Corum, who I think I think Blake's a second rounder, man. Every time I watch him,
At
I'm impressed
least,
by his cuts. I mean, he's a
yeah, I
really
agree.
good little football player. Yeah, you know.
I agree. And they're going to, the way that the Tennessee Titans consistently beat the Kansas City Chiefs is not quarterback play. It's Derrick Henry.
Yep, that's right.
It's ball control. The counter to a great passing game is that you have Emmitt Smith.
Mhm.
Is that you have the dudes that can tote it. And Michigan has that. Michigan has that ability to play the Alex Smith type offense.
Mhm.
Really the Joe Montana type offense where
Mhm.
we are going to 10 and out you and we're going to keep the ball, Peyton Manning,
Mhm.
those kind of guys. Like, we're going to hold the ball for 10 to 15 minutes. There's nothing you can do.
That's right. That's right.
And that's how you beat those guys.
Yep. Yep. Keep him on the sidelines.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. 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 And they have enough playmakers in the back to be able to defend the receivers because
Yep.
there's some talent at wide receiver with Washington, no doubt about
Oh,
that.
yeah, they got studs.
They got some studs out there, no doubt.
Yeah.
But Michigan's got athletes that can run with them. Maybe not as good, but good enough, especially when you combine that with the pressure Michigan's going to put on them. Um, and especially if Washington can't get into 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7, 2nd and 10 is a problem. 2nd and 8 is an issue. So,
Yep.
if Michigan can hold up on first down with 7 guys in the box, playing cover 2, then I mean, good
Which
night.
is ultimately what they did with Bama. That
Exactly.
was and if they can do that with Bama, I
They
can see
went to
them doing it with
Washington.
what? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
yeah, yeah. That was your national championship game. I feel like, but I mean, at the same time, down goes Frazier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
never know. I mean, look what Francis Ngannou did to Tyson Fury. He didn't
yeah.
beat him, but boy,
You,
I mean,
yeah,
if Tyson wasn't the champion and wasn't Tyson Fury and that was just an exhibition and nobody know who those dudes,
yeah, yeah.
Francis,
He takes a nail.
it takes an
Yeah,
L.
he takes a nail. No doubt about it.
If
Yeah,
he's not Tyson Fury, he takes an L.
not even close.
Yeah.
Um, um, what was I gonna say about Washington is that you know all that being said, I mean, I like Michigan like 70-30, but I mean, Washington has a puncher's chance. And, when you've got a guy that can throw it that well, if they can find a way to protect him and make him feel comfortable so he can throw the ball on time, and they can get something going in the running game, just enough to keep Michigan honest, right? First down, if you can, if they play a 7-man front and you pound it in there and you get to second and 4, 2nd and 3. If you can get a few of those going early in the drive, but Michigan have to play like some cover 3, some 8-man front type of stuff to give you a chance to really attack on the outside. Um, they can make a game of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And this
absolutely.
kid, yeah, and this kid's so good that like he could just dime you up for 3. You know what I mean? Like a receiver could be 60 yards down the field and open by a half a foot. This guy can drop it in there. I mean,
Yeah.
he could drop in 1, 2, 3 on you. Like,
Yep.
he gets a little lucky. He could dime you up for 21 points on his own, right?
Easy.
Just yeah. So they're going to have a fighter's chance. You know what I mean? I just think Michigan's a little better football team, but that doesn't mean Michigan's going to win a football game. I'm
Right.
excited for it. I can't wait to watch it.
Right. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a really good one. I mean, I think probably under 10 points.
Oh wow, right on.
I think so. I think it'll be probably 7 to 10 point game.
I
Like
agree.
one of those like, all right, this is settled with about 3 minutes to go.
Yeah,
Michigan has it
yeah,
in one of those type of games.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I think
Yeah.
that sounds completely logical. I'm 100%. I'm with you.
Yeah. And so I enjoy it, but I mean, there's not as Texas is coming to the SEC, but it's the first time in how long that we have non-SEC teams in the national championship?
I know. It's been forever. Yeah, it's
It's been
crazy.
forever. And now that you're moving to 12 teams next year, you're going to have a whole plethora of teams that has that puncher's chance. I mean, um, teams that normally would, have no chance of getting in there. Your Old Misses, your Kentuckys could get in. Your, you know, Tennessee can definitely get in next year. Like USC, you
Yeah,
got to think they'll definitely be in. Oklahoma, a lot of those teams.
yeah. I'm really excited for that Big Ten conference too. I mean, that's going to be cool, man. I
It's
mean,
going to be yeah.
yeah, SC, UCLA, all the Big Ten teams. I mean, next year I think they said Michigan next year plays USC, Washington, Ohio State, uh, um, USC, UCLA. I mean, that's just an amazing Penn State.
That's
That's an amazing skill. I mean,
that's
now we're going to see
ratings
them play
gold.
6 great games a year. You know what I mean, rather than three or
Exactly.
two. So
That's what everybody wants, and at the same with the playoffs expanding, having a 1-2 loss deal isn't as big of a deal
sure,
anymore. Like
sure.
you'll see plenty of 1-2 loss teams get in.
Everyone's going to have one.
Yeah, yeah. Like you look at the the field this year. I mean, like we have a totally different outcome. I think if 12 teams get in,
100%.
because a team like Old Miss, they get hot.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yep,
It's a very
yep.
big problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so, yeah. What about you though? Who are you rocking with?
Um, well, I mean, I'm sure I'm
Same.
Notre Dame. I'm Notre Dame. I mean,
Oh, of course.
you know what I mean? So that's my squad, and I loved my experience there, and um, uh, love what the school stands for, and they care a lot about kids' futures and making sure people get educated, and um, it's a business decision, and there are no fraternities or sororities and or lakes or Daisy Dukes or beers in the dorms and none of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's and academically it's rigorous, and if you don't have a B in a class in Notre Dame, they put you with a one-on-one tutor for 45 minutes
Oh,
for
wow.
for each class. So I
Crazy.
won't I won't mention any names, but I know some guys that were juniors and were in the study hall till 10 o'clock to 10:15 at night. You know what I mean?
Listen, I would have
But
lived there.
yeah,
I would have
yeah,
lived there.
but they caught up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they caught up, and then the senior year they're not in there anymore. And a couple of those guys have gone on to go to law school, run or attorneys now. You know what I mean? Like so, guys came in, they were Prop 48. They thought, oh, this guy's dumb. He's not dumb. No one's ever cared about his academics before. Nobody's ever held him accountable for reading a book before. No, so he didn't know. And then in high school, all they want to do is just give him A's so they could just slide through and not have to compete academically. So he didn't know. But you throw
Yeah.
in Notre Dame, and you know what they do? They put their arms around him and they give him tutors and they get him caught up. By the time he's a senior, he's an honor roll student and he's off to be an attorney afterwards. You know what I mean? And so
Most people don't know how smart they are until other people tell them how smart they are.
100%, hundred
Like
percent.
that's it's a very common, especially if these guys are coming. I mean, for me, like coming out of Appalachia, like you don't realize how smart you are coming out of some of the education systems. Same with the inner city, like and so yeah, and so until someone looks at you and goes, "Hey, you actually have some good stuff to say," you don't really know you have good stuff to say.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah. And so, how was it? You get to Notre Dame in 1988. You win your national championship first year. First year. Kind of spoiled rotten.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
question.
we're going to win it every year. How was that, though? Like, what is it? Lou Holtz is your coach, and y'all win a ring. How does that feel?
Yeah,
'Cause
it
I've
was.
never won a national championship.
Oh man,
So
it
I
was.
ain't got no clue.
I got, I
There
got,
it
I got, the,
is.
I got the ring on right now. Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, it was fantastic, um, one thing that surprised me is there wasn't a feeling of. I mean, for maybe like a week, we felt like, oh, we're the champs. This is awesome. Everybody got their rings, the celebration, and all that. The ceremony. That's pretty cool. I mean, literally after that, you know what the feeling was. At least for me, for sure. And I think a lot of people felt the same way. Is now it's like now we're the 100. You know what I mean? Like last year, we were always, we were number 17 to start the year, and then we were 15, and then we're 13, and then we're 9, and then we're 4, and then we're 3, and then we're 2, and then we're finally 1. Now we're going into the next series and we're 1. Now everybody's coming to get us. Like, you start looking at the preseason stuff and the people talking about, I can't wait to play Notre Dame. And I'm like, wait a minute, that was just us the year before. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so it made me feel a sense of like not panic, but just a little light anxiety. Like I got to work out a little bit more. Like I got to get better. I got to make sure I get sleep.
Yeah.
It made me want to lift my game up. Like I'm not going to be the reason if we don't win it again. It won't be because of Rod Smith. Promise
Right.
you that. If we don't win the championship this year, it will not be over my dead body. Promise you that. And a lot of guys felt like that. Everybody worked a little harder. It made us better and more responsible to the team and to each other. No doubt about it.
Right. And and that's the mark of Lou Holtz too.
100%.
Like that's the imprint of Lou Holtz. Like a
100%.
great coach makes you aware of the fact, like, oh, no, you realizing that is a trademark of, you're in a good system and environment that is teaching you to think and to be aware and to be self-aware and to realize your own successes and what's coming. And so that's the mark of Notre Dame, or at least Notre Dame back then. I don't know about these current days now.
They're trying to get it right. We got a new coach and
It's been a minute.
yeah, I know. Been forever. He's trying to figure it out. I mean, he's going into his third year as a head coach. I actually met him in Charlotte, maybe like a week and a half ago. He came in town for the Bronco Nagurski Awards and had a chance to talk to him for a little bit and meet Xavier and
Oh yeah.
congratulations on his win. But he brought the staff in with him and had meet some of the guys and that was good. And he's got a lot on his plate, and he's never been a head coach before, so he's trying to figure out how to be head coach.
Right.
Okay, there we go. Um, he's never managed a staff before, so
Right.
he's still learning how to get the right coaches and then how to coach them. Like, he's never had to coach other coaches before, so he's got a lot to learn. I'm not going to judge him hard until after his 4th year. I
Kind of
think,
like the guy at Duke.
yeah, exactly. Like give him some time. Um, I mean, obviously we were better year 2 than we were year 1, better coordinated. Hopefully we make another leap forward in 24 and 25, and then we'll take a hard look at where he is. But I think he's gonna be fine.
Just listen, no more losing to Louisville.
That was awful.
I can't.
Oh, that was awful.
As a Kentucky fan, I can't have Louisville beating traditional powerhouses
Oh my god, I know that was awful.
and then us get smashed by Alabama on the same freaking weekend.
Uh, uh, yeah, that hurt me so bad. I mean,
Uh,
that game
Come on.
that game sucked. I mean, Ohio State, yeah, sure, whatever, but like that was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State, that's Ohio State. There's no shame in losing to Ohio State ever.
Yeah,
Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, like, if you get got by them, whatever.
yeah, good teams.
L's down.
Yeah, yeah,
L's down, though. Like, you can't lose to Louisville.
yeah, it was awful.
Like, you can't be losing to Birds.
Yeah, it was awful. We're not. Roger that.
Uh,
That was awful. That was bad.
it's funny. It's like everybody, when they talk about Lamar Jackson, it's like, I can't root for him. I can't. He was the Cardinal.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't care how good he is. Does he deserve the MVP? Sure. Do I hope he loses in the first round? Hmm. I hope he does. I hope he fumbles. I hope he fumbles.
Yeah, I mean, he's he's a special player, and
He's still got a lot to prove in the postseason, but
100%, 100%.
dude, talent wise, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
stud,
yeah,
stud.
yeah. I mean, his conditioning is
Yeah,
is
ridiculous.
yeah, in that super elite level that Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, that kind of level, that Rod Woodson. I mean, guys that could easily, jump in a could do a triathlon. I mean, like that level of conditioning. Not playing a football game. I mean, like guys that are capable of doing a triathlon. I mean, the whole bike, the whole run, the whole swim, like that level of conditioning. That's where Lamar is. I mean, that is, he's there aren't there couldn't be more than 10 guys in the league at that level of conditioning. He does not get tired. And what people don't understand is the mental toughness that it takes to get your body in that kind of shape. Like how hard you have to grind and the consistency, and the discipline you have to have on a day-to-day basis on what you eat and how you sleep and how you work out. Like there's barely enough time in the day to get your body into that level of conditioning. Like it's insanity.
It's the only way that LeBron and Brady did and are doing and what they did is just insane dedication to never not conditioning.
Yeah.
Like you look at the Jerry Rice, and you played against Rice some.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
did you ever line up 1-on-1 against
100%.
Rice?
I had my first
Oh
interception
man.
against Jerry Rice. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I picked him
okay.
off
Hold
my
up. Hold up. Hold up.
slant.
All right. All right. Now, Tennessee pick was my favorite one, but this might top it. If you got your first one against the
Yeah.
GOAT,
Yeah. Against the GOAT as a rookie.
the GOAT, the only receivers that I put up there with Jerry Rice, my Mount Rushmore, if I had to do four, it's Rice, Larry Fitzgerald, Terrell Owens, and then Moss.
Yeah. I like that. I like that
That's my
crew.
four.
Yeah. I like that crew.
You put Larry Fitzgerald with Steve Young and Joe Montana for his whole career.
Oh, jeez. Come on. Come on, man. Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
we talking about Jerry Rice if Larry Fitzgerald has those guys?
Maybe not. I mean, you put Larry Fitzgerald on the Patriots with Tom Brady.
Oh,
Take off Gronk, put on Larry. I mean, he catches 1,500 yards for 12 years in a row, 10
he
years,
had
9 years. Like he just goes off for like forever.
he was a wide receiver and he has more tackles than drops.
That's crazy. That's insane.
And I never saw him tackle
That's
anybody.
such a sick stat. Oh God, I'm using that one. That is amazing. Like wow, more tackles than drops.
That's the
That is
stat.
so sick.
That's the stat where you go,
Wow,
holy
holy
cow.
crap. Yeah. Wow, more
That dude
tackles
that dude
than
was a
drops.
freak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean at Pittsburgh, that one-handed that he OBJ'd before OBJ was even
Yeah,
born. That
yeah,
one-handed grab in the back of the end zone at Pitt
yeah,
that year,
yeah, yeah. He's a problem.
it was a problem. And then you
Yeah,
had Bolden on the other side. Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. They were loaded.
Yeah, but what was Rice like? And now your first pick, tell me about that first.
Oh, I mean, it's funny. I mean, I was a big studier. I mean, I had
Was
to.
it against Young?
It was with Young. Yeah. They were just getting in the red zone. They made the ball like on like the 22-yard line. They threw it on first down, incomplete. So 2nd and 10 in the red zone. They loved running these slants with Jerry. So
Yes.
they put like Jerry on the outside, and they put like Ricky Waters split out wide. And then may have been the fullback out there too. And then they ran Jerry Rice in from the outside into the formation to rub him off the starting corner and put him on the nickelback, the rookie. So they put him in motion to set up to have him run the slant against me. But I'm watching this whole thing going, I know what's coming. It's gonna be a slant.
If,
So I just drove on it hard and made the pick. And yeah, my first interception was against Jerry Rice. Pretty crazy.
nice. They ran that play every game.
Oh yeah, I mean
They
like
ran that play every game.
second and 10 in the
That's
red
their play.
zone. That's what they run. I
That
mean,
is what they run to Jerry Rice. To
to
pick
Jerry
play to
Rice,
Jerry
yeah,
Rice.
yeah.
That's he scored 80 touchdowns
Oh,
off just that.
jeez. Oh my God.
Just,
And just the
that's
slant,
nice.
the red zone slant, and you can count on it. And
Now, did you bring it out or did you just drop down and take it to the
uh,
20?
yeah, we were both kind of fighting for the ball, so we just hit the ground, and I got it pulled away from him, and he tried to get
Uh,
it out, and I
boy,
jumped up and did a little celebration dance.
you better. You better. You just picked off Steve Young on Jerry Rice for your
Yeah,
first.
it was pretty cool.
Listen,
It really was pretty cool.
listen. You could read.
I got that ball over here somewhere.
You
That ball
better.
over there. Yeah,
That ball better be over there.
it's in the case. It's in the case over there.
I'd have it vacuum sealed. It's got Steve Young's DNA, Jerry Rice's DNA, and yours on it to prove it.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's a story right there. Because I mean, Jerry was a bricklayer too. So
Yeah,
like ripping a ball out of Jerry Rice's hands.
not easy. Not easy. He was a great player. I mean, obviously, right? And
Oh, dude.
it's
Uh,
funny. Bill
Hey,
Parcells. Bill Parcells told me that um, I'm gonna put you on Jerry Rice during the game, and I was like, that's a horrible idea. He goes, yeah, but I'm gonna give you some help. But I need to put you on him because number one, we need to beat him up. Okay, he doesn't like to run block, so every time they run
right.
the ball, I need somebody that's willing to like do the dirty work, and I know that's what you do for a living. So we're gonna put you on Jerry. And then number two, um, you're the second best conditioned athlete I've coached. And to play Jerry Rice for an entire game, you really need to be in like elite level condition. This guy's in a different category, Rod. And what he'll do is every time it's a run play and he realizes it's man to man, he's going to run you off. He's going to get you looking at him. And he's going to sprint down the field 60 yards like it's a go route. And he'll do it over and over and over and over and over again.
And he's not breathing hard.
He's not breathing, and he's just doing it to wear you out. So that in the second half, what he's going to do is here's what you're going to notice. In the second half, he's going to run you off. And then like he always does. He never walks in the football, never ever walks in the football field. He's gonna be jogging back to the huddle, and he's gonna watch you, and he's waiting for you to start walking. As soon as he knows that corner starts walking, he goes to the sideline and
It's
says,
over.
"Hey," he goes, "Hey, he's time to get him." He's walking. Sure enough, about middle of the third quarter, end of the third quarter, when he runs me off, it's a go around chasing him down the field, blah blah. So I'm jogging back. And I came on, I'm thinking about something, whatever. And then I look over, I see Jerry Rice over there, and Jerry Rice is right at me, just like this. He's jogging right at me. And oh, is this where I'm supposed to walk and get tired? Not happening. Yeah, I know your game, man. Not happening. You never played against somebody like me. I don't get tired. We can do this all day long, brother. And he just smiled at me and kept jogging. But he smiled at me. He's like,
All
okay. I was
right.
like, this is where I'm supposed to start walking, right? Like, I don't get tired, Jerry. Like, that's why I'm out here against you. Like, we can do it all day. I will not get tired. I promise you. I'm never gonna walk. And he smiled at me, kept walking. So I thought it was cool, but that's well, first of all, it's amazing that Parcells can see all that, and since it's
I mean, you were a track star. Hold up. I don't know that people know your track numbers.
oh
Listen, 10-1-100 is what the internet has you down on.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I ran a 10 run once, and I mean, I had good speed. I did. I wasn't world class, but I was fast. I was fast. I was
10-1 is world class.
but
That's Olympic. That's Olympic.
I could get it. I could run a little bit, no doubt.
In the 90s,
Yeah,
what was it, 88 when you ran
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah,
88,
yeah, 88.
87.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah. That was good.
that's world class back then.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's fast. It's fast. It was fast. But I mean, but listen, but there are guys. It's funny. You always look at the guys that are like above you. At least I did. Like I was always trying to like get up. Like yeah, could I run? Was I fast? Yes. I was state champion 100, 200, long jump, all that. Yes. You know.
yes,
You know. But
All American.
but at Notre All American. But at Notre Dame, I got Rocket Ishmael on the team next to me. And guess what? I've been the number one sprinter in every team I've ever been on my entire life until I walked into Notre Dame. Then
That's why he returned punts and not you.
you got that right. Then I was number two.
Yep.
And the thing is, the first time we ran like the indoor 60, I swear to you, I took like when you come out of the blocks, you take good 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you get your head up to look up. I looked up after 4 steps. Rocket Ishmael was already like 3 feet in front of me. After 4 steps, I've never seen that before. It was so weird. I almost stopped running. I almost was like, was there a false start? Like what just happened? I'd be like, there's no way you can be that far in front of me. I've only taken 4 steps. Like is that a false start? I literally almost stopped running. Like that had to be a false start. Yeah, that's how fast that dude was. He was unbelievable.
And there's a difference too. Like there's track speed, and then there's guys who can have that gear on the football field.
100%.
And
100%.
there is a difference. Like
Yes, there is.
Dion, I mean, like Jerry Rice, for instance. Jerry
Yes.
Rice's 40 time, what was it, a 4.7,
Or
4.6,
six something. Yeah.
something like that?
Listen, whatever with that nonsense. Have you ever seen Jerry get dragged down from behind? Ever? Like ever? Have you ever seen him one
You,
time? Everybody grab him behind. Ever seen that? Nope.
I saw Dion chasing him.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, no one caught Jerry. Not,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Like there's guys who have that speed that once they see that open field, like there's a gear that kicks in that is it's go time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Prime had that.
Yes, he did. No question.
Like, once he saw some open space,
It's a wrap.
you
Yeah.
just stop running.
Ciao.
Just stop. Don't waste your energy running down there. You
Yeah.
ain't catching him.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt about
Tyreek
it.
Hill is that way. Tyreek Hill's that
Oh,
way.
yeah. I mean, just amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
But on a track in the 100, is Dion seeing you back then?
Oh, oh, absolutely. Dion was faster than I was in the 100. I mean, yeah, there weren't a lot of guys, but there were guys. I mean, Rock was
I
faster.
I
Dion
thought
was
I thought Dion was like a 10.5 in the 100.
no. Dion was running like 10:03, something like that. 10:03, 10:02. I mean, he almost got into the 9:99. I mean, like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he did
yeah.
have you. He had a step on you.
Yeah, and again, and I ran 10 run once. I probably averaged like 10:3. I ran 10:1 like
Okay.
on my best day, but like I
When
was
it
like a
mattered the
10:3 guy
most.
on average. Yeah, but um yeah, Dion was a couple tenths a couple tenths faster. Rocket was a couple tenths faster. I think of who else was like. There's another guy out there that could just absolutely just fly. Oh, Daryl Green. Daryl Green could fly. I mean,
Forgot about him. I
oh
forgot
my
about him.
gosh, so fast. I remember watching my rookie year trying to chase him around.
Listen, the
Uh,
other Rod Smith wasn't slow.
oh, Ross Wood can fly too, no doubt
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that. Yeah, Rod Woodson can fly. I mean,
yeah.
but he wasn't in at that level. I mean, Daryl
No.
Green, Rocket Ishmael, Deion Sanders. That's a different level.
Moss had that kind of
Yeah.
speed.
Listen, Moss is in that group. Moss is a
Yeah.
problem too. That big dude flying down the field,
No,
problem.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, all that range, all that catch radius.
Listen,
Yeah,
and when you look at just peaks, like whenever they were at their best, like it's hard to say that anyone's peak was higher than Randy Moss's.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
saying greatest of all time, because you gotta have longevity, and you gotta have, like, in order to be the greatest of all time, you gotta put in the time.
yeah,
Like, um, and Randy, he vanished in Las Vegas, and he's what, 1,600 yards behind Jerry Rice,
yeah,
or more. Like,
yeah.
he's a couple seasons behind Jerry Rice.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like, and so, like, but peak wise, boy, Randy
Wow.
Moss, Randy Moss might
Yeah,
have been one of a kind.
yeah. He was a monster, and we played him up in the when I was the Packers. We played him up in the dome, and he got me for a game winner, like a 54-yard bomb at the end of the game, and um,
Nothing you can do.
listen, I wish I could tell you I could play it better, but like, I fought like hell to try to keep him off the sideline. I mean, I just, and it's funny because, it's like, I was Minneapolis high school athlete of the decade of the '90s,
Right?
and not just
Yep.
Mr. Football. I was high school athlete of the
And,
decade,
yep.
and I'm
I
out
have
there
that in
against,
my notes.
and I'm out there against Randy Moss. Like, what am I doing in here with this dude? I mean, he was.
Who's playing in
Yeah,
Minnesota?
I mean, like he's so tall and so fast and so agile. Like he moves he moves like a point guard, but he's 6'3", 6'4", long arms, and he's just flying. I mean, if you don't get the
Freak.
jam just right, it is over. He's got you by 3 yards, and the ball's just coming in there, and he's catching it like this over his shoulder and looking at you the whole way. Like, I mean, like it can get really ugly really quick. And it's funny because and again, they also run the football too, right? So it's a chance for me to get my
Yeah,
hands on him and get my wrestling going and get my jiu-jitsu going, and I can beat the crap out of them. And
he's from West
so
Virginia, bro.
listen, so I was trying to kill him on the run plays, but I couldn't kill him. I got him dumped a couple times, and he was just like, oh, he's like, oh man, you got me. But
Yeah,
he wasn't getting defeated by my physical. He wasn't. He was just like, he was almost like going like, oh, you got me. Like, I was like, this is when you're supposed to get intimidated and get scared and like worried about like. He was just like, nah, you got me. Nice job. I'm like, it's just amazing.
yep,
A lot. Well, surprised me with his mental and physical toughness. I'll say it like
yes.
that. Like he's much tougher than I gave him credit for. Going into the game, I know now. Like Randy Moss is a boss, but I didn't know going into the game he was as physically tough as he is.
Now you played. You played against Jerry Rice, Randy Moss. You played against Sterling Sharp.
Owens.
You played against Terrell Owens. Give me your Mount Rushmore after playing against those dudes.
Well, I mean, I
Now
think
you got them at different points in their careers, of course.
yeah,
But
yeah. I think Jerry's just a goat. I mean, you watch him on film, and look at his productivity across genres and teams and man and zone, and I don't care what you do, he finds a way to win.
best route runner in NFL history.
Without question. And then and then you've got then I think it's Randy after that. Like Randy's just a big down the field problem, a deep ball issue waiting to happen. You know what I mean? And uh, and more cerebral than he got credit for. Was very well aware of defenses and coverages and where the weak spots were. Like
You
he
saw
wasn't
that in New England,
yeah, he wasn't just running the open spots.
right?
He was running routes in order to create leverage and space for time to put the ball in. Like so,
There was
um,
times where he was telling Tom where to throw.
exactly. Like saying, I'm gonna
Yeah,
do this and that, and then
yeah,
give me some space, and they'll give you space to fit the ball in there, like make it happen. And um, was just a great player. And then I mean, for me personally, after that, during my playing time,
yep.
Sterling Sharp. Sterling
That's
Sharp
what.
was a problem. I mean, like
Yep.
and I can't stress it enough how physical and violent he was on run plays.
Listen,
I mean, it was okay for me because I play that kind of game. That's my deal, And Sterling's my guy. Like, he's a friend of mine. When he comes into town, we play golf. But we used to go at it so hard. I mean, but I mean, friendly. It was really, really some of my most favorite like competition in my entire career. Playing
yeah,
against a guy that's really, really good, probably a little better than I am, but like trying to find a way to um to keep this guy from killing us. You know what I mean? From
bro.
how do I keep one of the best receivers, the best athletes on the planet Earth from mashing our entire secondary? You know what I mean? And like I love the challenge and he got me in a couple of touchdowns and I got in for an interception once and like but like but that's I really enjoyed that
He.
playing against a guy that's
Mhm.
going to bring out your very best.
And number four,
Um Number four, who did I think number four?
is it
Again,
T.O.? Is it
again,
T.O.?
yeah, it would be T.O. T.O. is a problem. I mean, big, strong, um, uh, tough. Also was a run blocker. I mean, he wasn't Sterling level run blocker, but he didn't mind the smoke at all. He was like, oh, you want to headbutt me on run plays? Let's get it
That
on.
boy's
Like,
a statue. Have you?
yeah, man, yeah,
Boy, he's made of iron.
he's a problem, man. And it's funny. After him, who else? Who I thought was very tough was Chris Carter. Chris Carter and Michael Irvin, both those guys. I mean, like both those guys are more possession-ish receivers, but can go deep on you. Not, I mean, like there's still a problem on the deep ball because they catch it so well. And both
But
those
those
guys,
dudes are so strong.
they're so strong.
Those
Yeah.
dudes were so strong. Is
Mhm.
where like you ain't. You go ahead, bump and run. Have fun. You jam
Yeah.
your wrist.
Come get some of this. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they absolutely wanted the smoke, and you come up
Yeah,
run, they look at you like, oh, okay, all right, Smitty, you want to do this? Okay. And you're like, damn, man, that's not exactly confidence inspiring, right? My was like,
right.
oh, you want this smoke, Smitty? You want to do this bumper run? Okay, all right. I was like, wait a minute, don't be mad. I'm just, hey, I'm just playing a little bumper run. Everybody relax, keep it cool.
But if you look at especially the Sharp boys, Shannon and Sterling, that's kind of like a dream interview for me because of how poor they grew up. I grew
Yes.
up that poor,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to be honest, I'm probably still kind of that poor. But like just the stories they have from the country.
Yeah.
Like that's what I can relate to so much with them.
Yeah.
From growing up in Appalachia, they're in the foothills of Appalachia in Georgia, and
Yeah.
so I've always loved those two, just because of like how much I can identify with that way
Yeah.
of life that they had, and that's what created that monster.
Yeah. That's right.
Like they didn't have indoor plumbing in their house until Sterling made it to the NFL.
Yeah.
Shannon
Yeah.
Sharp's first shower in his life was after his brother made it to the pros finally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that creates a toughness
You better believe it.
that like, if you're going to come at that man, you better be bringing more than just the wood. Like, you better be bringing all your manhood.
That's 100% right. And it's funny you say that. Like I was, it's funny. I got it like, like from my dad and mom, but my dad grew up like that. Like, and my mom did not. My mom's family is highly educated all the way back. I mean, um, they're all geniuses. They really are. They're super bright. Multiple PhDs on that side, that kind of deal. On my dad's side, he grew up like Australian. Those guys did. You know what I mean? And I got my toughness from him. And um, and it's funny as I think about it, like how did I get like that? Like, but I would just. It's funny. I earned the respect of these guys, especially in Notre Dame too. Like my roommate in Notre Dame grew up with bars on his windows and all that, and I grew up in living on a lake in Minnesota and all that. But like, I just grew up like wanting to fight for every inch. You know what I mean? It wasn't about the end. It wasn't about the reward. It was like, hey, we're playing out here. We're competing. Like, I want all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And and I don't and if you grew up hard or soft or whatever, like, if you got the jersey on, if it doesn't match mine, and you're getting 100% from me, like that's what you get. And I just that's just the way I did. I just that's all I know.
yep,
And I always felt like, it's funny coming up. I always felt like I don't want to put my education on my dad if I can help it. You know what I mean? Like, they've done
yeah,
enough. I want to make sure I take care of this myself. And like, I'm gonna die trying. I may not be able to,
yeah.
to do this, but I'm gonna die trying. And so it's funny when you mentioned about Sterling. I did not grow up like that, and I did not grow up at Notre Dame. But I was friends with everybody who did, because there was a mutual respect that, if you go against Rod, it's going to be life or death. Like, there'll be no quarter given. Like you would think that Rod grew up like that, the way he plays. Like, it was, kick me
But
out of
it's
practice.
your dad instilled that in you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like Shaq. Shaq didn't necessarily grow up like that, but Shaq's
did.
dad grew up like that. Shaq's
Yeah,
dad joined the military. Shaq's dad, and you hear those stories of like,
that's where he got it.
oh, that's where he got it. That's
Yeah,
where he got
that's
it.
where he got it. Yeah.
And so I'm sure that was the case.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your dad's like, "Hey, I'm looking at the film here, and you're not playing hard. Like, that will never happen. I mean, like, that will never, ever, ever happen." I'm like, my dad will never see me loafing, like, ever, never, ever, never. So it's, it's funny. I think about, like, it's definitely from him. Like,
Yeah,
he's the reason why I was like, oh, you're never gonna see me on film, not giving great effort.
getting beats one thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Losing's one thing.
yeah,
Getting beats one thing. Not giving any effort, That's a totally different issue.
Yeah, no doubt
That's a
about it.
totally different issue.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's the pro. Mm, that's what's unacceptable. That's when
100%,
there's no effort. You gotta be doing something.
100%, 100%, 100%.
You gotta be doing something. Now, playing with Lou Holtz, playing with Bill Parcells, this two gods of coaching. Um, how how are they alike and how are they different? Like you got two of the best to ever do it. I mean, Lou Holtz is kind of you know I mean, he's up there with Nick Saban and Joe Paterno and all these legendary names. Like he's up there. He's a Hall of Famer. Like, and so is Parcells. So how do you like you go from there to there, and then you get sent to Carolina, but that's a different thing. But those two legendary coaches, how are they alike and different?
Yeah, they're both super intense. They love to yell and scream. Um, uh, Coach Holtz was an amazing judge of personnel. Like he knew, like had a good sense of how hard he could go at different players in different ways to go at different players to get the best out of them. Um, Coach Holtz is one of those guys too that grew up super poor.
Oh yeah,
And I mean, lived in his car um, for a couple of weeks between jobs. Took a job as an offensive coordinator at one point, and then the coach got fired before he could get there in his car. So he left one job to go to another job, and then that coach got fired for doing something silly before the season started, and was with his family and two kids, and like not knowing what to do, and like having to scramble to get an assistant coaching job. I mean, he's been in those situations, living in a car. Um, so he has no sympathy for a kid that's at Notre Dame on full scholarship that's not taking full advantage of of what's around. You know what I mean? Like Coach Holtz is like was almost mad at guys that weren't working hard and weren't doing what they're supposed to do. Like you're at Notre
yeah.
Dame as a 20-year-old man at Notre Dame, free dorm, free food, free coaching, playing with these great players, and you're not giving great effort. Like Coach Holtz, you got to remember who this man is, where he came from. Like he would cut up his finger, cut up his arm for this opportunity when he was your
Oh my
age, and
gosh.
some kids goofing off. Like he is going to rip your face off. Like so he walked around like waiting for somebody to do something silly or not give great effort and just roast them. I mean, I mean, like me included, like everybody, like he was just on a tear. I mean, but we were disciplined. We were competitive. He does a lot of one-on-one competitive drills. He really wants to emphasize, really wants to toughen his players up toward one-on-one competition. He really wants people to develop that way, and it makes for better football players, no question about it.
Yes.
It absolutely does. Now, it's not for everybody. Like we lost a lot of guys. I mean, like we lose. We have if you
All
have class.
great coaches do.
Yeah, right. We'd have 30 guys come in. Number one recruiting class in the country. Have 30 guys come in.
15 of them gone.
Six of them would leave after the first year. And this is back
Yeah.
when you didn't have the transfer portal. Like guys would have to leave, sit out a year. I mean, like we'd have
Sacrifice.
six or seven guys
Hmm.
leave every year, like leave the program, because it was just too intense, and it was crazy. But I actually loved it. I mean, I'm a psychopath. I thought it was great. I mean, I loved it. I loved the screaming, the yelling, all of it. I was just like, let's crank it up some more. I was like, let's go, crank it up, like keep yelling, let's go. but 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 we lost some talent. We did lose some talent. You know what I mean? Guys like Kenny Spears and Dorsey Levens goes on to make the Pro Bowl. He leaves. Coach was cussing him out every day for 3 weeks straight, and he's like, I'm out of here. So you lose some talent like that if you're not able to kind of figure it out. I would say the one thing, like, Parcells and Belichick Parcells are very similar, except for Parcells was a little more sophisticated when it came to that. So Parcells could realize like when he was pushing too hard and like back up, and like he could also realize like I can scream at Rod about this, I can't scream at this guy. I need to compliment Rod on this. But I can scream at this guy for that. Like he was very sensitive to like what each player needed to be great. That's why he can have like Lawrence Taylor and then have Harry Carson next to him. You know what I mean? Like couldn't be two different players, right, in the universe, and get both of them to play their best football right next to each other, and they're like literally like one's a 30 and one's a minus 30. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think it might have been you. It's either you or Ryan Clark. The other day was talking about how a coach would yell at them in order to yell at the person beside them.
I saw that. It's Ryan Clark said that.
Was it Ryan Clark?
Yep,
Yeah,
I saw that. I saw that though. I saw that. I
yeah,
saw the clip you're talking about. He's 100% right. And like I was that guy. Coach Holtz
yeah.
knew that he could cuss me out and scream and yell at me. And by virtue, coach the other
Take out the
players
room.
through me. Yeah, like yell at the entire room through me because there's some guys in the room he knew he couldn't cuss out because they just like quit. They'd be like, I'm out here, I don't need this, I'd leave. And I was gonna stay there and take it anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
I
that's Belichick and Brady had that like agreement.
yes,
Like, people think that Belichick would just walk in and cuss Brady out, like, and like yell at him in front of everybody. That's
no,
not.
no,
They had an agreement,
yeah,
boys.
no.
Like, you ain't Tom Brady. You come up to Tom Brady cussing without warning.
He might get punched.
You probably gonna get
Might get
punched.
punched. It's funny, and I know you saw it. Like when Ryan Clark said about Russell Wilson, he said, "Remember, Ryan Clark said, you're lucky,
Lucky he ain't Brady.
you're lucky it was the right one. You're lucky because
Yep.
a different quarterback would have turned around the sidelines and punched you right in the face, like you'd have been assaulted. You know what I mean? So,
You do that at Roethlisberger?
you're getting lit up.
Vic? You do that to
Oh,
Vic.
you're getting lit up.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Shoot. Yeah,
It's not.
you're gonna get smashed in the face. Yeah, no question.
Absolutely.
Those guys are
And
not
so,
having it.
and so, as I would try to be respectful of your time here. And so you're playing for legends, like freaking gods, man, like the Phil Jackson of football, like that left just amazing coaches. And then you go as the first overall pick in the expansion NFL draft to the Carolina Panthers. What went through your head whenever that happened?
I was super excited. Uh,
Really?
yeah, I was super
I
excited to
I
come to
would not have
Carolina,
been.
and I was sick to my stomach.
Okay.
At the same time, I was
Oh,
excited to be drafted early. That's cool. It shows that they want me.
honored.
There's a nice payday coming. That's pretty cool. Hit my savings goal. I was getting close. So like this contract should get me over where I want to go. Allow me to be able to retire at 60 years old and then start working my way back. Um, uh, that's all good, right? And that's why we got in this thing to like give us some security but
Get rich and get out.
and get out of there. We're still healthy and all that. But I know New England's going to win Super Bowls. I go that Parcells has got it going up there. The Patriot way is rolling. We just made the playoffs last year. Like team's getting better. Like Parcells
Bledsoe's
is,
there.
yeah, Blitz. I mean, like Parcells is there. Like they are going to win Super Bowls there, and I know it. And I was part of the part
The
of that thing,
foundation.
the foundation. And I was like, man, I should be there. Like I should be on that team. Like you know what I mean? And um uh um golly, I was sick when Parcells called me. I almost started crying. I was like, oh my god, this sucks. You know what I mean? You know,
And so
and he said, listen, you know, you were the last starter on our list. So yeah, you're a starter here. We want you here. You know what I mean? But I can only afford to pay you half what you can make in Carolina. You know what I mean? I don't want to put you in expansion draft. I'm being honest with you, Rod. I think it's the best move for you. You go down there, you're gonna get a nice deal. You'll meet your savings goal, and it's a small league. You never know. We may see each other again. But like, I just think I don't want to screw you over and try to keep you here, and then you cut your pay in half when you could be down there. So like, you got to get it.
he
Look
was
at
long term looking out for
a
you.
100%. Parcells is my guy. I still talk to him about once a year, and he's a mentor of mine. And I just have to call him on his birthday and pick his brain a little bit, ask him a couple football questions. Don't bug him too much, but like, but like I like to stay in touch with him. He's my guy, and
Bug him, bug
yeah,
him,
yeah.
bug him. He's old. He likes it. Listen.
That's
Those
my
old,
guy.
those whenever you reach a certain age and you're at home, and your old players are texting you, there is nothing in my mind that believes that every time that your name pops up, that he doesn't like yes,
Yeah, I hope so. We have good conversations. That's my guy.
yeah.
So um and then it's funny when I left Carolina in '98.
So hold on,
But
you get traded from the Patriots.
yeah,
They lose the Super Bowl that year
that's right.
to
In
Brett
fact,
Favre,
yeah,
and you're in Carolina,
yeah,
and you have okay, go ahead.
yeah. And then the next year, we got Kevin Green, Lamar Lathan, and Sam Mills, and all those guys. The defense is rolling, and we get Eric Davis, and
Yep.
now we're playing Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Favre got after us a little bit. And it's funny because how close that game was. Um, we had a play right before the half where we had a sack fumble, um, and it was a nickel blitz. So I'm blitzing too, and ball went like right over my right over my left hand. I mean, I was getting partially blocked. I'm getting hit, but I'm trying to grab the ball and it snuck right by me. Um, if I'd have got that, if I could have recovered that fumble, we keep it from getting 7. Maybe we get 3. It's a different ball game, but like, it's a game of inches. You know what I mean? And just couldn't get my hands on that ball. Sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, you made enough of an impression that Green Bay wanted you the following year.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, don't be too hard on yourself.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
reigning Super Bowl champion said, "Hey, we need that guy."
I want that guy. Yeah, I had fun in
And
the
you're
first half.
having a career year.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You're balling that
I
year.
was ripping guys. I had fun, man. And
Yeah.
the opening kickoff, Desmond Howard took it back like 60 yards. I chased him down and like tried to body slam him on their sidelines. It was great.
I
I
watched that
mean,
on YouTube.
nice run back, but I was literally trying to hurt him. I'm not injure him, not injure,
No,
but
no, but
just
you're trying to say stop doing that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to discourage any further returns. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
stop it.
Yeah, not injured, but I
Well,
want
he
him
was
to
a
do something.
beast.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
That dude. Whew,
yeah,
he was the original. I mean, yeah, he was the original Devin Hester.
yeah. Absolutely,
Like,
100%.
whew,
That's exactly right. That's exactly
him
right.
and then the human joystick, Dante Hall.
Yeah,
Those
that's right.
dudes.
Yeah, yeah,
Those three. Oh man.
yeah. Great players, great players.
Yeah, yeah. And so, um, what was that? What were we? Sorry, ADHD just
Oh, we're,
smacked me right between the eyes.
we were talking about the Packers and NFC Championship game,
Yeah.
and then
So they bring you in, you're having a career year, and pop, and you're back.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because the L5 disc in my back was getting bad. I heard it bad my second year in the pros, and
Okay.
in that training camp, and uh, it just slowly got worse. And then I was just getting to a point now where, at that point, where I couldn't. It's funny. It's not the ability. It's not losing the ability to make plays and play the game. As you get older and get injured, what it is you lose the ability to recover. That's what stops you. You know what I mean? That's what and I get it. I understand it so well. Like these guys and people go, why can't he just leave the game? I mean, he's played for 13 years. Why can't he just hang up his cleats? He can't hang up his cleats because it's hard, because when he's feeling good, he feels like I could still play. And he knows in his mind and his heart that like I could still play. You could still play. The difference is you can't play this Sunday, and then next Sunday, and then the next Sunday. Yeah, it's losing the ability to recover. You can play one game. I can't believe my career's over. I still feel like I can play, because you could for
Yeah.
1 week, right? But week 4, you be in a body cast. You know what I mean? So, um, my back was just slowly getting worse, and I was at a point where I literally had to get treatment to practice. You know
Oh
what I
wow.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, like, it's time to hang it up.
And you're in a great situation. Like you're in Green Bay, and your numbers aren't dipping at all. You're on the reigning Super Bowl champions, who's going back to the Super Bowl that year to see Elway. Um, and so what part of that year were you like, this is it?
Um,
Was it the off season when you
it,
got
it, it,
there,
was, it was
or
it was after the season. After the season was
yeah,
over, I was like 2 weeks after the season, I was like, yeah, I think that's enough. I was just my back was in so much pain. And the doctor said, hey, listen, if I have to see you again for this thing, we're gonna fuse this vertebrae. And I was like, that's not happening. Um,
yeah,
but then again,
especially back then?
oh my gosh, exactly right. So, but then it's funny. I start feeling better, So August, I get a call from Dan Reeves that says, "Hey man, like I need some cornerback help down here and some special teams help down in Atlanta. Can you come on down?" I was like, "Hell yeah, man, let's do this." So I jumped in the car and drove down to Atlanta. Jumped on the ball club, tackled Jamal Lewis. I'm sorry, Jamal Anderson on the goal
Yeah,
line.
yeah, yeah.
Smashed my back again, and the doctor said, "Okay, now I'm serious. If I ever have to see you again for this back rod, we're gonna fuse these vertebrae." And I was like, "Can I still hit the driver?" And he said, "No, you can't hit the driver. You can't hit 3 wood. You won't hit 4 iron either." And I was like, "All right, well then I'm out." I mean, that's how it
That
went
was it.
down. If I can't hit the driver, I'm out.
No, that Atlanta team, that was who that was Jamal Anderson and Ward Dunn.
Yep,
Was that
yeah,
backfield?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
Boy,
They were
those are
good.
some.
They were
Those
good, man.
whoo,
Yeah,
those boys could cook.
yeah, they could get it, man. And
I remember Ward Dunn used to wear that gold chain
yeah,
underneath his jersey.
yeah, and Terrence Mathis was a wide receiver down there too that never got a lot of
Yep,
credit, but was a prop. I mean, like
he was
he
tough.
was he was amazing. He really was. He's one of the guys that like one of the most underrated wide receivers in the history of the game. I mean, just great numbers and just always open and difficult to cover. Wasn't super fast, so didn't have like big, long, huge plays, but just found a way to get open and create space. Um, was a feisty run blocker. Was physically tough. In great
Yeah,
shape, smart, like just a real. If you have him for 3.5 hours, you're gonna have a really long competitive day. Like you better be ready to rock and roll because Terrence is gonna test you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And now I'll tell you my first football memory of you. Um, it was Notre Dame, Tennessee.
Yeah,
I am sitting in a living room, and Andy Kelly is driving down the field,
yeah,
and there is no one within a 70, 80, 90 mile radius of me that likes Tennessee. Um, and I hear, and it's picked off over the TV, and it's one of those big wood TVs with the antennas and the,
yeah.
and the dials, and I hear Rob M.F. and Smith, thank you.
That's hilarious.
And it was you putting an end to Tennessee's hopes and dreams.
That was the that was the
That saved y'all season. Hold on, that saved y'all season.
yeah, it was a big play, and it got me back in good graces with the team, with the coach, and um,
Because you had
um
got.
yeah, oh yeah, I got
Yeah.
smashed by Desmond Howard
Yeah.
on national television for 3 touchdowns in the first game of the season. I got killed, got yanked from the game in the middle of the third quarter. I mean, like it's brutal.
It's on
Um,
YouTube, bro.
oh gosh, yeah,
It's on YouTube.
I got absolutely just got chewed up, and then saw my grandma crying in the front row of
Listen,
the stadium. It was horrific. Um, and had to really go back to the drawing board. And it's funny because um, my dad came down and literally saved my life. My dad came down. I got beat for 3 Howard. Well, let's talk about the Desmond Howard thing first. So
but
I got beat for 3 touchdowns, and then
Heisman winning Desmond
yeah, he's a
Howard.
great player, no doubt about that. But he smoked me. I got killed. Coach Rhodes put me out in the third quarter. My grandma's crying in the front row. It's horrible. The worst I've ever. It's the worst I've been. The worst I've felt my entire life. Watching my grandmother cry in the front row.
Grandma
Oh,
crying, man. It's
I'm
just
like, geez, I know, Rob. Just like, are you kidding me, man? You gotta be kidding me, right? So brutal. I mean, like,
man, Granny,
God.
don't cry.
I mean, dude, come on, Grandma. Godly, it's gonna be on TV or something like God. No. So, So Coach Oates puts me on scout team. I'm not demoted
Oh
from.
my gosh.
Oh yeah, I wasn't demoted from first team to second team. I was a preseason All American. I went from preseason All American to scout team.
The
So he puts me. Oh yeah, he puts me on scout
dogs.
team. Yeah, all the way down. Puts me on scout team. I call my
Ooh.
dad. Tell my dad. My dad's like, I'll be there tomorrow. Let's go to dinner. So you love this. So I'm moping around in practice, not doing a damn thing. And my dad drives down, watches practice, and he's like, hey, crank it up. And I'm like, whatever. And I'm moping around, not doing much. And I play a little hard, but I'm moping around. So we get off there, and we go to dinner. And my dad says, listen, um, I got to tell you something that's going to make you a little uncomfortable. You need to hear this. He goes, number one is, you may never put on the Notre Dame helmet again the rest of your life. You need to let that soak in. Your career at the University of Notre Dame on Saturdays could be over where you sit. You may never wear the helmet again. Okay, and I know that's uncomfortable, but you got to realize that's where you are.
You got burned.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, I mean, like that. You could have ruined that one. That could be gone now. He goes. Now, he goes. That being said, he goes. The good news is somebody has to be the most competitive, the most prepared, the most well rested, well fed, aggressive, combative, physical, practice football player in the history of Notre Dame. Somebody's that guy. Coach Holtz has nothing to do about whether that's you or not. Okay, you've got a 3.2 grade point average. If you have a 3.4 grade point average, you'll graduate with honors and you'll be an honors graduate, Notre Dame honors graduate for the rest of your life. Forever and ever. It'll say honors graduate. Like Coach Holtz has nothing to do with that. That's between you and you.
He can't take your scholarship.
Can't do that because somebody's the first guy in the weight room and the last guy out. Somebody is the hardest working person on weights and training and conditioning in this university. And Coach Holtz has nothing to say about that. That's all you. He goes, so if you can control the controllables, the things that you can control, it'll give you a chance to find out how good you are. And you got to remember, you're practicing against Jerome Bettis, Ricky Waters, Rocket Ishmael, Rick Meyer. Right? So Derek Brown, you're practicing against the number 2 pick in the draft, the number 7 pick in the draft, the number 8 pick in the draft, the number 9 pick in the draft, and 2 Hall of Famers. Okay? So like
I don't ever want to hit the bus.
oh my God. The bus hit you.
Bro, there was no point in my life where I ever saw Jerome Bettis and was like, yeah,
I want a piece of
I
that.
had to line up against him. I had to line up. There was a dude um who play. I got hit by a fullback that ended up playing for the Jets, and I thought my soul. I mean, I was talking to cavemen, and this was in high school. He went on to the NFL, and I was like, okay, this is not for me. Like, if that's
I
what a
get it.
D1 athlete feels like, I'm not a D1 athlete. It's like,
I get it.
screw this. I'm
I
going to get a job at Hardee's.
get it. I get it. I get it. Well, Jono, listen, man, I appreciate your time, brother.
This has been awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I'm glad we did this. And
This is Jono's World, conversation for everyone.